Welcome everyone to a casted game for Zerospace, and today spawning in on the northwest corner of the map, playing in green, representing the Protectorate faction, and it's a name I can't really say, but we're going to call him MLG. And battling out against him today, spawning in the southeast in blue as the Legion, it's Soap. Welcome everyone to Coastal Outpost. As always, I hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And it's going to be Mara for the Protectorate, and it's going to be, I believe it's Galavax coming out for the Legion. So I hope you guys are all doing fantastically well. It's been a while, and well, that's because I've primarily been very busy with Age of Empires 4, and also partially Stormgate, but with Stormgate quieting down a little bit and Age of Empires 4 kind of rolling into a bit of a rhythm, I wanted to come back to Zerospace. Currently on a free playtesting weekend, and you know, Zerospace just looks so good at the moment. I've really been enjoying it in the alpha stages, and it just keeps getting better and better. I have really high hopes. I'm a little bit cautious of the fact that, you know, RTS games aren't quite what they used to be in terms of popularity. But hey, look, personally for me right now at the moment, I think if there's going to be a game for the RTS genre to be revived with a little bit, or, you know, going to be doing really well, I feel like Zerospace is kind of going to be there. And I'm kind of curious to see how things are developed. Obviously going to have new units, new abilities. You can see some age-old abilities there. Of course, Galavax using his trusty fireball to clear out these little critters and look to capture these control towers, which are now looking a little bit different from what we used to. And I mean, they do the same thing though. They gather the XP to then get your talents. So yeah, let me know what you think about Zerospace at the moment. I guess you guys have probably been keeping up to date, and if you have been enjoying the content on the channel up to now, make sure you have given the video a thumbs up. More importantly, make sure that you are subscribed, because we're going to get plenty more Zerospace content on the channel. Now, it's going to be a single racks opening, and with a second base expansion here for the Protectorate. And he has also got a Protectorate Harvester on the field, which Galavax is looking to try and challenge. We will take a look at what's happening down in the southeast with regards to the Legion, but in just a moment, it's a bit of a face-off here, and Mera looking to try and take Galavax out, and Galavax trying to run out of there, might be a bit cautious. Now, I think the Legion do have the ability to recall units, but maybe he just doesn't have the energy to do so, and he's going to be kind of caught here. He does manage to dash out of there, as it happens, just about. That was pretty close, although maybe Mera might use her dash to try and keep up, potentially. Potentially, hold the phone. She does dash, and will she get a couple of... Yeah, he goes down, Galavax, and... well, that leaves the Legion a little bit exposed now. Speaking of which, Legion does have a second base expansion, has opted for the Valkaru Mercenary Outpost with a double barracks to support. And a couple of Exalteds. I mean, I like to call them Rhinos. I think we'll call them Rhinos for now because it just sounds cooler, right? Now, a couple of units have had some name changes as well, so we'll get some, you know, time to get used to that. As you guys know, I am more of a professional Age of Empires forecaster, so it's difficult adapting to a different game. Also, a very different game style, right? Because in Zerospace, you actually have passive generation of the resources, and the base expansions are, you know, there aren't really workers as such, as opposed to Age of Empires 4 resources. It's a totally different game, really. We see a little bit of a scouting drone. That's a new unit, and I believe that is for, well, it must have been for the Legion, because it got shot down by the Protectorate. Just giving that a little bit extra information. And we've got a couple of Valkaru shock troopers. Now, in the early stages of development, these guys were absolutely busted. So maybe they've had a bit of a nerf. I'm not entirely sure about the stats and the recent patch changes. There's just so many units in Zerospace. One of the things I love about it, actually, the one thing I love about Zerospace, as opposed to, say, some other RTS, I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to name and shame, is that Zerospace has so much flexibility and variability, because they've got mercenary factions with adding in such a big dimension to the game, plenty of new units. That's going to change from every game, right? It makes every game feel a little bit more unique. And that's great from a perspective of viewing the game, playing the game, and certainly casting the game. It might feel a bit overwhelming at times, but, you know, RTS games are generally games that you delve in and you commit to quite heavily. And so eventually you get the hang of it, right? At least that's what I've learned about casting. The more you cast, the better you get at it, and it takes some time. And, you know, I'm not going to feel as comfortable casting Zerospace as I do Age of Empires 4. Not by a long shot for a very long time. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully guys in the comment section below will correct things I may have misplaced or missaid, or even just add in extra comments for certain things you might see that maybe I didn't comment on. That would be super useful. It just takes time as a caster to develop, and we'll get there. As the game is cooking, I'm going to be cooking as well my casting skills with Zerospace. What I like to say is that I'm really enjoying Zerospace just by how it looks and the way the game style has been played out. Like, we've got the early stages where the heroes are a lot more prominent. We did see a bit of a, you know, the hero-on-hero action, Mera taking out Galavax, but slowly but surely, their heroes do lose their kind of their emphasis on the game. They're still there, they're still working hard, but eventually it's the new units that pop out that are going to do the most of the fighting, right? We've got the Rhinos coming in on the west side, maybe look to get some raiding damage. We've got the third base out for the Protectorate so far, so the economy should be looking a little bit better for the Protectorate, although as I say that, the supply is actually higher for the Legion, probably because of the units that popped out, right? Because the actual income per minute for the Hexite, the primary resource, is higher for the Protectorate. Galavex running on through, does use the Valkyrie Beast. I believe that's the top bar ability for them. Looking to take down this operating tower there. This is the primary operating tower as well, so pretty big scalp to take if he takes it. And I think he will. Probably it's going to bounce on out of there once this goes down. In fact, he might just challenge this. There aren't that many commandos. Now, of course, Legion actually opened up with a second base expansion versus the 3 for the Protectorate. So, yeah, I mean, he's really committed a lot of resources into army, which is great for Soap because it's actually making it work. Mera comes in with their shield, though, and looks like Galavex took her out in the end. Fireball comes out again. This is actually looking a bit ropey for the Protectorate. He needs to find a way to defend this position. Now, does have the Moran mothership that might spawn some units as the... there we go, there they are. They're the Moran sharpshooters. Probably a great way to defend this, actually, as it happens. Commandos popping out. And it looks like eventually the third base expansion has started to commit into units. As I say, third base, well, actually now we're kind of on 2 bases because, you know, he lost his primary one, and he does reclaim all those units here, the Legion, to head back home to refresh, regroup, and recalibrate. Eventually probably head out into the mid-map again. Now, considering all things, that was a pretty feisty opening, but Soap did lose a lot of army, right? But he did some damage. Overall, I don't think I necessarily hate Protectorate's position, because he did have a third base expansion for quite some time. Had a stronger economy, and now it's just sort of even. As I say that, actually, he's expanded to a third base, so it is still 3 bases versus 2. It's kind of an interesting playstyle. Like, we can see the benefits of having early macro in Zerospace already. How much that works out for him. Now, the kind of cool thing is that Protectorate are recalling just individual units that are weak. They come back home, heal up a little bit, and then they join the fight. And that's a really good way to continue the longevity of these units, which we'll come to later on in the game, because there's something really interesting about the Protectorate commandos. They can actually garrison inside a transport type unit, the Strider, but we have to see if those are made or not. If they are made, we'll talk about it. But I love these sharpshooters. They're a really cool mercenary unit because they can deploy, increasing their range, and they can zone off portions of the map, and it's a really nice unit to be working with. As I said, it's going to go to kill one of these workers, which is gathering the flux for the Legion, which is unfortunate. It's going to lose the second one as it happens as well. So Soap kind of struggling on the macro side of things, but he's going to be coming up with a full force once again with some armored thralls and some ranged thralls, as well as what I like to call the Rhinos. So it heads across to the middle of the map, maybe to challenge for those towers. Now we're going to take a look at the talents just a moment. Look at that. We can see the cone shaped for the sharpshooters they have deployed. Galavex does deploy the fireballs. Commanders jump right over it, and I love these unit interactions. The units actually feel really smooth to play, by the way. So it's, yeah, Commander is probably one of my favorite units in terms of their jump jet ability. Now let's take a look at the talents. So you've got the improved beam up, which the delays are a little bit reduced on that. It gets 100% extra healing amount, and you get maximum 10 charges. A really nice boost up there for the Protectorate. You've got Wisdom for the extra experience gain, and then you've got Reinforcements cooldown, an additional tier 1 mercenary. Interesting. So you can get the, you know, the cooldowns for Reinforcements, but get a tier 1 mercenary unit alongside that now with that upgrade. Also advanced weaponry, extra 15% damage and range. That's actually a pretty big one as it happens. As I say, big ones. Take a look at these guys, the Valkyrie Flamewalkers. Either way, on the Legion side of things, gets reused equipment. Thralls will refund 25% of their cost upon death, and then efficient upgrades, 40% research speed, and also 40% reduction in the cost. Boosting obelisk unlocks the boosting obelisk and increases obelisk's range by 30. I don't think, is that a new obelisk? I feel like that's a new talent actually for the Legion. We may have to take a look at that if it gets used. But it's going to take down some of these supply depots, and these Valkyrie Flamewalkers look really good. As it moves north now, trying to go for the primary base again as it happens. It's going to deploy the Valkyrie Beast. That is the top bar ability. We've got a couple of Moran mercenaries here. The Moran Halo tank. Oh, the sharpshooters deploy. I'm not so sure about this fight for the Legion, although he does have the flamers. Commanders jump jetting right close into that fight, trying to take that fight. There's a Strider, by the way, as it happens, so some of the commanders might get in top of that into it to be able to fight within. Like the commanders still can fire out of it, which is pretty epic. But a lot of those commanders are going down to the armored thralls. Mera goes down as well, despite using the shield. Wasn't enough. The Strider goes down as well. Legion actually putting a lot of pressure here. The Protectorate are under a lot of fire, and there is actually the Guardian Obelisk helping out in the fight as well. A couple of reinforcements come in, Moran Badgers adding into the fight. There's even got a Randy Shader, isn't that what? I can't remember what that's called actually. Yeah, it's a Randy Shade. So that's coming out for the top bar, having used the reinforcements, but in the end, Legion actually have to back away. Lost a lot again there, Soap actually, as it happens, and it's just the macro here for MLG that's working out really well. Like, he has got essentially 5 bases working for him. Soap has added in a third, but you can see Soap certainly looking to try and be the more aggressive player. Oh, that's pretty aggressive. Holy moly. Where are these workers off to? He's got quite a few. Probably could have been taking this one. Unfortunately, he's going to lose a couple of workers. Maybe a bit of a misclick. Either way, going to be grouping up together and adding in a second hero here. It's going to be Krieger. Now, Krieger's a pretty cool one. Of course, you've got, I think, 3 heroes now as the Legion. You can choose from, and you can actually make, you know, obviously all 3 in the match all together, if you so wish. It's obviously very unique to the Legion. Now, Krieger has a couple of cool abilities. Has Piercing Shot, which deals 75 damage in a linear area. Also has Toxic Ammunition. Some of these things may have changed in name, so I'm going to have to get used to it a little bit, but we'll get there eventually. We'll get there. Speaking of getting there, the Protectorate faction units are heading there on the right side, and he does also have Airstrike now as a top R ability. That's pretty cool to see. We may see some really good airstrikes. I believe you can have up to 4 of these. I may be wrong, but they are pretty cool in a fight, actually, as it happens when they deploy. It's courtesy of obviously having you know, a couple more seconds or minutes on the control towers. Gets that 5th talent ahead of the Legion. But Soap does have quite a bit of military on the field. Those armored thralls are going to have to tank against the ranged units from the Protectorate. I've got to say though, if you're playing RTS games, you know, for a while, for me personally, you know, ranged units can be incredibly powerful. The ability to kite, not necessarily commit to a fight, is incredibly strong, especially with the sharpshooters. You can see, like, if the Legion want to push in, they're going to have to suffer some losses before they can really even engage with the armored thralls and get close, because they're melee units, right? So if he's going to try and push on through, he's going to get shot by these sharpshooters. Sharpshooters deploying right at the bottom of the ramp, ready to take a fight. Galavax does have some really cool abilities himself. I think a couple of things have changed, but if I'm not mistaken, Galavax can actually, you know, he's got the fireball and has also got the sacrificial spear. Now, I'm not entirely sure what these are. Oh, what's going on with the UI there? Anyway, we'll fix that. But I don't know what's going around with this blue circle around it. I feel like, I can't quite remember. Someone did tell me, Birds, who's been helping me out really a lot about understanding the game, is going to be disappointed because I can't remember what it is now, and I'm pretty sure he told me. But I'm sure someone in the comment section below will clarify. Of course, it's early stages for me in my casting career for Zerospace. It will take a bit of time. We'll get there. We'll get there. But the units look pretty good. He's going to go down to the south and try and deny this base expansion. He's going to get it, most likely. Commandos jump jet through, and he's going to snipe that down very nicely. I expect the Commandos to maybe try and retreat into the Striders, maybe. The Armored Thralls jumping on through. Look at that, the nuclear strike coming in from Krieger. Does so much damage. Mera comes out with the shield to try and protect. There are flamers in the back line, but a lot of these Commandos are dying to the Armored Thralls. I'm pretty surprised not to see the Commandos inside the Striders, but it is what it is. He's jumping out of there as much as he possibly can. Might lose one of the Striders. No, he teleports out of there. He recalls both of them as it happens, and a couple of the snipers too. The push coming in strong here for the Legion. There's the boosting obelisk. It doesn't actually tell us what it does here, does it? Bit of a shame. Certainly one for me to note down for the notepad for later to check on exactly how it works. Armored Thralls are going to tank a lot against the Commandos, and actually the you know, the Legion are gaining some momentum here, but he does have to do a lot of damage, right? He's behind in economy. Make no mistake about it. Bit of glitching there with the Strider on the top of the ramp, and Krieger comes in with another shot, massive shot as it happens. A couple of these Striders might go down. He does use a sacrificial spear here, Galavax, and well, it looks like a fight that's actually kind of hard to tell. I mean, there's reinforcements coming in. Like, look how many Commandos came out there. So I'm just going to go for, well, he's going to get some of these crabs. It's been a while since we've seen the Chaku crabs, the Clackjaw, apparently they're called. That's what they're called now. Going to get another massive shot on top of the Strider, and Galavax uses the fireball ability. Strider manages to get out of there. Pretty high HP, Crab also pretty decent at tanking things. He's kind of been back to airstrike, comes in, but doesn't really quite land so much. And there is, by the way, the sacrificial spear. It lands a sacrificial site, so the Protectorate get close enough, it does do damage to them. Gallavax uses the Fireball because he does deny that base expansion, but he's got plenty of others here. Protectorate and MLG. He's heading back home for now. Soap has expanded in the southwest. He's slowly making the macro expansions too. But it's been a great game of Zerospace so far. Now, I would like to say, by the way, if you've been playing Zerospace and you have recorded files of games, make sure you send them my way. I'd love to cast them, you know, as much more I can. I just want to see as much Zerospace as I possibly can, right? So we can just cover as much as we can, and I can learn as quickly as possible. Because by the time we get a couple of games more, you never know, it'll be in beta stages and be a bit closer to release, and hopefully there'll be some tournaments being made, and I'd love to be able to cast them. But we've got to learn the game, right? Now, taking the airstrips could be pretty important, although he might use them as it happens. He's got to use airstrikes here, no? MLG, he's going to lose them. Alright, a couple of talents have come on in, by the way. Got the monolith for the Legion. Did we see this one earlier? The heavy plating, all units have a +1 armor and extra 25% HP. Not too shabby. But the next one, power control. Control towers generate faction power as well, so it's going to help with the top bar abilities. Oh, a couple of those commanders ran right into the fireball. The Legion kind of backing away, going to try and take this control tower. Probably will get it in the end, so Protectorate will lose a little bit of economy. Not terrible maps, but he might be a bit trapped. There's only 2 ramps there, and the Striders are going to cut off the retreat. Really, that's a lot of Striders, holy moly. And finally, that economy has really paid for that military, and the military numbers looking great here for the Protectorate. Well, the Thralls are trying to get as much in. Oh, could be massive airstrike. Huge airstrike on those ranged Thralls. So many went down, holy moly, in the blink of an eye, and Soap's population, his supply, drastically dropped there. Huge shot from the Protectorate. That's how impactful that top bar can be. That kind of crazy airstrike ability just did so much damage. But it's kind of what you want at this stage of the game. You know, we're at 17 minutes. You want these big shots, big moments. And that was definitely one of them. Oh, the Legion. That's a bit cheeky. Yeah, the Legion going to try and get that control tower. Oh, that spot. We do see now, interesting, a Griffin. So I believe that's more of a support air unit, and yeah, I know it's a bit bugged, right? Don't worry about that. They will fix that, sure enough. I mean, this is really still early stages of development, guys, so bear that in mind. What I would say, the game looks fantastic for the stage of development that it is in. Couple of ranged Thralls, trying to poke and prod and get a Harvester if they can. Now, the one thing about Harvesters you should know, when they do die, they actually respawn, but your enemy does get a bit of resources from them. That's actually kind of changed, so it does encourage players to take out these Harvesters a bit more so than just, delaying flux income, and also you get a bit of a pickup of resources from it too. But these Thralls, yeah, they're going to be taken out. Was it worth it in the end? I'm not sure. Probably not. Either way, it could be a diversion. He's going to go to the northern position, try and attack from that angle. And, I mean, MLG rather, he's actually a full population supply, so I'm feeling confident about his position. As I say that, so are the Legion, but the bank of resources here just looking so much better for the Protectorate. It's because he expanded his economy so quickly and so early. We'll take the fight here. It's going to be a decent fight. If you can take out the airstrikes, actually, that'd be a big deal. Brings down another Valkyrie beast, but look at that Terror Tank coming in as well. But airstrike comes in once again, right on top of the ranged Thralls and takes a lot of them down. Armored Thralls are a bit more tanky. They survive a little bit better. Gallavax uses the Fireball ability once again. Striders in good numbers, and this actually might be a bit difficult to push into. I don't think Soap necessarily has enough here, but he does have the Terror Tank, which obviously can do a lot of damage. When the Striders does go down, there's definitely a massive fight here, which I think the Protectorate should be able to hold on. There's a good number of Armored Thralls being able to retreat, but it just feels like the Protectorate now have really good premium units. A couple of commanders added in as well. And he's looking in good form here, MLG. Pushing the Legion back into a corner. Not necessarily where they want to be. Terror Tank though, you need to keep that alive if you can. It is definitely a premium unit for the Legion, and it does use a bubble on it to protect it. And that is one of the Terror Tank's abilities, if I'm not mistaken. One of the turrets as it happens. You got the shield generator, yeah, there it is. That's one of the little turrets. So the Terror Tank can equip itself with 4 turrets. some of the flame turrets. You can see 2 of them there, and there's also got the shield generator on them. So 2 of them there, and there's also got the shield generator on them. So 2 flame turrets and 2 shield generators on that terror tank. No turrets on this terror tank just yet. Commanders jump on in, and the armored Thrall's going to try and get on top of them if they can. There's not that much in the way of ranged units here for the Legion, which is kind of a problem. Oh, the airstrikes come on in. Mostly land on the tanks. Do a bit of damage, but perhaps they would have been a bit better on the armored Thralls. Who knows, really. I'm going to push this back away. The armored Thrall's actually holding quite firm. So it's got to be careful not to overshoot things. The great thing about having ranged units in this sort of fight is that they can actually stand behind the melee units and get really good DPS. But when you have primarily melee units, they have to get that surface area to attack with, right? And where the maps are kind of a bit closed quarters in this location, it's a bit hard to get that surface area to contact with, right? So that's where ranged units really come to the fore. Speaking of which, well, it'd be pretty bit difficult to get ranged units up against the Hellfire. I'm pretty sure these were called Strikers before, but yeah, name change there to Hellfire. Probably makes sense because Strikers are a little bit close to Striders. Striders being the transport thing, these guys. There we go. Airstrike comes on in again, once again, and does a lot of damage. Now, he might be looking to try and snipe out this terror tank if he can. That would be a good pick off here for the Protector, but for now, he's focusing on the armored Thralls, understandably so, which these Hellfires are doing great work with. He's going to back away for now, though, and keep the Strikers alive if he can. The Striders, I should say. The armored Thralls all but gone. The hero there, Inquisitress, the 3rd of the Legion hero, is right in the middle of it. We're going to tank it and die eventually. Speaking of tanking it, there's the tower tank moving further forward. Now the Strider does die with commanders popping out. And they look to regroup once again. That's a lot of... is that not the shock troopers? No, they're the Valkyrie flame walkers. Yeah, they're a bit bigger than the shock troopers. They're looking pretty menacing. Now one thing's pretty cool about the Moran Halo tank, by the way, the longer it fires, you can see the more damage it does, and he's able to actually move and shoot as well. It's a pretty cool feature of that unit. Bear in mind, 3 control towers here for the Protector. It means he's he's going to get more top bar abilities quicker, although I think there's a maximum of and I believe you can go to 12, is it not? It used to be 10, but I'm not sure if now it's 12. But it hasn't had a talent come in for quite some time, as it happens. Maybe now they've capped it to well, I mean, he's got 7, right? So I can't imagine they'll keep it an odd number. We'll keep an eye on that. The army sizes are starting to get pretty big now. Interestingly enough, the Protector actually have more than their supply should allow. I think it's probably because of reinforcements, maybe. I'm not entirely sure how that's happened. No way. Mara taking the fight here. A couple of armored Thralls trying to get a wrap around, get some raiding airstrikes. They try and cut them off. They are going to make it through, but commanders jump jet through and to try and fight them down. They should be able to clear that out. Kind of sacrificed a couple of units here, the Legion. Perhaps it's part of a bigger plan, though. Replace the population supply with something else. More Thralls, I guess. And the good thing of the Legion is he does recover some of that. In terms of, money. He's getting an extra bit of 25% from when they die. Advanced production, reduce the cost of Thralls and Rhino by 20%. So it should have really efficiency, some really good efficiency gains here, the Legion rather. Firstly, you get resources back for dying units, but also the initial cost is reduced. Well, I suppose you get less resources now because they cost less, I guess. Which is kind of interesting. Drops down another Valkyrie beast, but there is a Halo tank on that. In fact, what is there a Halo tank inside the Strider? I think you might be able to get tanks inside the Strider. That's kind of crazy to think about, actually. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just outside it. Either way, the Valkyrie beast tanking it heavily. It's going to go down pretty quickly. Kind of left alone by the rest of the Legion. Is sacrificed. He's trying to go for the airstrike areas, and understandably so. Airstrikes do come out there in the end from what remained. This is an absolutely huge fight. It does have 2 tower tanks. Gallifrax uses the flame. The armored Thrall is trying to get on top of these units if they can. Does have a couple of flame walkers there. The monolith is spawned as well, so he's going to be doing some really good damage that way. Heated shot comes out for Krieger. But in the end, it feels like defender's advantage would certainly be in the favour of the Protectorate, and so he should be able to deal with this. As you see, more Striders entering the fight. Not that many armored Thralls now remaining as a tanking unit. There's a couple of ranged units, but he loses the tower tank, and I think Soap is kind of in trouble here. He's lost the majority of his army, a couple of armored Thralls in the north, but they will get gunned down. It's hard for them to get a really good contact. And Here comes some more reinforcements. Commandos coming in galore. Jump jetting to try and take now the monolith down, which probably won't survive too much longer. There it goes. And yeah, the unit numbers looking really good here for the Protectorate. It does have still one Terror tank to maybe to work with, to retreat with. A couple of range Thors here down the south. Takes out the Harvester. We're going to go for a bit of a run by on the west side, and yeah, it's doing that. They're going to take some important production structures. The advanced factory doesn't really want to be losing those if he can help it, Protectorate. And you know what? Soap is actually trying to be fair, he's actually kind of restricting the Protectorate somewhat. And you know what? Maybe that was a good fight for him in the end. I mean, the big thing is that he's actually reset his army on the west side, so oh, it's going to be an airstrike. Could be a huge one. No, he managed to dodge a lot of that. And the great thing what Soap's been doing, he's been fighting on almost two fronts, right? He took a big fight here, and I guess Soap used his reinforcements to now harass on the west side. It's getting some really good eco damage. It has to be said. The bank of resources not looking as good as it once was here for the Protector. I mean, he's been doing some great work here, Soap. Going to take down the supply platforms. Got to be careful about these airstrikes though, right? He's kind of cornered. I love the way they deployed the airstrikes, but he will be able to get out of there with the vast majority of the units. Not all of them, but most of them. He's going to make a move now on the northern side. Look at that. Sort of back and forth in each direction. Soap, unrelenting as the Legion. Gets a Valkyrie Beast as well. Two heroes pushing forward. Here comes a shot from both heroes. A shot from Krieger and Gallavax using the fireball. And look at this Protectorate army is going to stuck here in the south, right? Meanwhile, the Legion are getting some really good critical damage. And bear in mind, there's good recycling. As soon as he loses Thors, he gets units out of it. He gets resources from it. A good few go. Oh, could be a big airstrike, massive airstrike, and so many of those Thors went down. But it's still not half the fight, because it still has so many more units here, Soap, and it's going to be pushing forward. It does have a lot of ranged units now, which is perfect for this fight, because they're fighting right on top of that ramp. Many armored Thors, and it almost feels like actually the Protectorate are running out of steam. He's running out of those control towers, and the economy is dying for him. And there's just so many Thors here for the Legion. And he's managing to get a good wraparound as well. He's starting to wake through and push through that ramp, and he's going to be able to take down these defenses. You feel there's two Valkyrie Beasts. He's really piling on the pressure. And this is looking a bit dicey for the Protectorate. I think Soap may have done it. He's broken through a lot of the defenses. I mean, ultimately, the Protectorate down to 4 bases, and I don't think the other one's even finished building yet. Gallavax uses the fireball. I think this is snowballing. The Protectorate are suffering. There's not too many units. A lot of commanders, but not too much more. Spawning the monolith. The Legion really pushing on hard. Soap, he's making it work for himself, and he's going to be pushing further forward once again. And the Protectorate on the back ropes. He's just got nothing to fight with now, it seems. His supply is down to 115. He's got a bank of resources, but a lot of his production buildings have been taken down, and I feel like that's what Soap has done so well in this game. He's taken down a lot of the production capabilities, and you get the feeling this is the last hurrah. He's got a couple of these Titans at the back line, which we haven't seen a lot of, but it's great to see them in action. They're looking really good, but the trouble is they've got a mountain to fight up against. There's just so many Thors, and if those Titans are focused down, it's going to be too difficult here. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, GG gets called. And it will be the Legion, it will be Soap that triumphs on Coastal Outpost. If you guys enjoy this casted game, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next one.